What's going on, guys? This is the Sideboard Gaming. I am Caleb.
How's it going? It's Tim.
What's good?
It's going, man. It's going. How are you doing today?
Good. Doing great. Just honestly excited for Dragon Ball because there's so much stuff being revealed. It's
Yep.
kind of, it's got the little
Fire
excitement
burner
going
again.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, reveal
kinda-
season's always fun.
Yeah. So, anyways, you said you were doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, had a long start to the work week, but we're definitely pulling through. I know we've been working on some cool stuff with the new guys on our new team.
Yep.
Just kind of
Sideboard
helping
Gaming.
get them into the swing of things on some stuff, helping them kind of level up in some ways outside of just playing also.
Right,
It's a lot of
yeah.
fun just kind of doing, general team building type stuff, kind of solidifying the ground.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, let's get into our episode for today. So the plan we have is we're introducing a new series, and we're going to kick it off on our podcast for this episode. We're just going to review every color in the Battle Evolutions booster set, and today we're going to start off with red.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that with Battle Evo, even as basically a theme booster, there's only one leader for each color.
Yeah, I think this set, I don't know if it is actually one of the smallest, but I feel like it's one of the smallest sets we've had.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. Yeah, we're gonna start off with red. Let's get ourselves on over to that page right now.
Alrighty, so we have all the red cards here. We're not going to go over NAPPA right in the beginning. We're going to touch on him in the end and kind of talk about some of the synergies, but we'll start with Yamcha and just go all the way down. So if you guys want to follow along, or you can just watch the screen, we'll have the cards up there for you. So Yamcha, Wolfang pitching Fist Ball. That's a tongue twister if I ever heard one. Anyways, he says, auto once per turn, when one of your red Cyberman cards is KO'd, you may play that card from your drop area with its skills negated for the turn. His +1 activate main. You may choose one of your red or green Cyberman cards and KO it. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, -10 for the turn. And his -5, his ultimate effect is activate main. Choose up to 9 of your red or green battle cards at energy cost of 1, and they get 11,000 power for the turn. What do you think about this card at a first glance, Tim? Without knowing, obviously there's a
I'm
red
not
and green
quite sure
Cybermen.
what any of the Cybermen do except for the older ones that blow up a 1-drop or something like that. I think it's cool that you can basically self-destruct your Cybermen to essentially kill things.
Yeah.
And they get to come back, which is cool.
Right. I think it's pretty good overall. Obviously, this card's supposed to synergize with the NAPPA leader. If you know a little bit, I mean, the NAPPA leader does Cybermen stuff, and this Yamcha synergizes with Cybermen. It's not actually tied to any leader, so you can run him in any deck you run Cybermen.
That is true,
which is
but
cool.
I feel like NAPPA's going to be where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Which we'll touch on that later when we go over some combos with the whole concept. But I think this card is really valuable in the +1 as long as you have the red Cybermen in play. You KO it, you -10 one of their guys, and then you bring it back for free.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of value. It kind of reminds me of like a Grave Pact once per turn.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's kind of a good analogy. So you're sacking your dudes to kill their stuff, which is cool.
And then you get yours back, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I really like that. A synergy with that card that no one's really talking about is one of your favorite green cards, which is Frieza Army's Healing Pod.
Yes, I think you were working on a deck for an article, and I think you were doing the NAPPA deck, right?
Yeah, I'm taking up the red,
and you were
red green.
You were talking red green, and I was like, well, if they come back, why don't you just throw pod in it, get you some card draw?
Yeah, so you have that, and then you also are going to have the NAPPA Super Combo, which triggers pod. And so you can have a good amount of cards that trigger the draw one on pod, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, what's also kind of cool, I just thought about, it's a 1-drop unison, so that turns your counterplay on.
Turn one.
Yeah. Which basically means you can kill a 25k.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty hot.
Kind of cool if they play it on your turn, I guess.
Yeah. So moving into the ultimate effects, choose 9, which is a random number. I guess they wanted to make a limit to that and not just say all of your battle cards, red or green. It's interesting that they say red or green. So does that mean you have to choose, or you choose up to 9 and they can be red or they can be green?
I'm assuming you can do any combination of red and or green.
Yeah, because that's what the or means in this game.
What my assumption would be.
Yeah, it just threw me off. Anyways, they get your 1-drops. They get 11,000 power. That's actually kind of relevant for like saying Kaba, intensifying power trunks, and those 1-drop self-awakeners, because then
big boys.
You know, your Kaba's becoming a 26k. Like, that's pretty big.
26k double strike base.
Yeah. Well, that's from taking the life, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's base power though. It's not combo power, so they'd have to actually neg 30 it to kill it.
I see what you're saying.
And
yeah.
It doesn't die to things like the Gogeta that kills like 25k or less or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it will not die anymore. It's the small things.
Yeah. So if you had to rate this card like 1 out of 5, 5 being the worst and 1 being the best, in a vacuum, what would you give it?
I think in a vacuum, it's really good.
Obviously, in that vacuum is a Cyberman card, right? Because it has to have it.
Yeah. It kind of depends on your Cybermans and I guess the state of the game around it. But yeah. I don't know. I think it's probably like an average. Probably like a 3-ish. It's just a kind of neutral.
Between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it doesn't have a way to protect its own markers is really detrimental when you compare it to the Demigra Unison.
Yeah.
Because like Demigra is great because, you know, turn 1 counterplay, but all it takes is swing into this guy, remove a marker. Okay, cool. Now you can't counterplay. And he's only at 9k. So I think you're really going to want to protect him. And it's not as easy as Demigra.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Demigra is just your premier 1-drop unison, I feel like. And
agreed.
I feel like if you want to be like a staple 1-drop unison for your respective color, you have to be on that level to even be playable. Outside of a theme deck, of course.
Right. I agree. Okay, so let's move down to the next card. If you want to go over this one.
Sure. Well, we skipped the first card. The first one was the leader on the page. So do we want to go back up to the leader?
Sure, yeah, we can do the leader. So because the leader and Yamcha kind of go together.
Yeah. All right, so leader is NAPPA. Pretty cool. It's like actual DBZ NAPPA, not like super or anything like that. Get a little bit of that old school in there. 10k saying activate main on the front side, add a card from life to your hand, and you can play up to 1 Cyberman card from your deck and shuffle your deck. Awaken when you're at 4 or less life, you may untap 1 and play up to 2 Cybermen from your deck and then flip the card over. and then we'll see the back side. Before we flip to the back, let's talk about the front. It has built-in self-awakening and deck thinning.
Yeah. I don't like that you must take the life.
That is kind of rough.
That gives it like, I don't know what the word is, but there's like this generic checklist in my brain of like very powerful front side leaders, and having the option to take it or to not take it means you're very powerful, because against an aggro deck you can choose to just not take the damage, but this particular leader you must, so aggro might be a little tough.
Yep. All right, let's check out the back now. I do also like that on your awaken you get to play up to 2 guys, though. That's a pretty neat awaken.
Yeah, so you play 1, then you play 2 more. That's actually like a lot of value. You're gonna swarm the board quick.
Yep. All right, backside, NAPPA and Cyberman. So now you have the alien trait on your leader, if that becomes relevant for anything. You do have an attack auto on the backside. Unfortunately, it's not a draw. It is once again to just play a Cyberman from your deck.
We don't need to draw. It's overrated.
Yeah, that's what pot is for.
Yeah, you're right.
And then another auto once per turn, when one of your Cybermen cards is KO'd, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards and give it negative 10,000 power for turn.
Okay, so
kind of the same effect as on the Unison.
Yamcha. So when Yamcha +1's marker gets +1, he KOs one of your dudes and -10s one of your opponent's guys. So
and
if you have the backside
auto,
right,
so you can basically neg 20 something off
every
the +1, and you get your guy back.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty neat. You can kind of machine gun down bigger threats.
Yeah, I think the deck's not gonna have it. The biggest issue will be like barrier, which you have some ways around that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Last part on the leader is activate main once per turn. Look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 1 red Vegeta or NAPPA card with an energy cost of 4 or less among them. Put it in your hand and shuffle your deck. If you added a card to your hand, choose a card in your hand and put it on the bottom of your deck. So you had a couple thoughts about this when constructing your deck for the article. The first one I think was scramble.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
We realized you cannot get scramble because of the cost.
Yeah, but that did lead me to my next, which is probably, I would say, the most generically useful target for this ability, which is
Super
NAPPA
combo.
Demolition Man. Yeah, super combo.
That's pretty good, just getting to search the top 7 for your super combo.
Yeah, and
then putting you can bottom deck something you don't need, like maybe a dead Unison or an extra Frieza pod or something like that.
I was actually thinking Cyberman, because then your leader, when you swing, you grab one from the deck, so you always have a target.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're in your hand, you probably don't want them there.
That is true.
As far as Vegetas go, there's a couple of lineage cards coming out that are they're mediocre. They're kind of average. I can't think of very many old Vegetas that are like really good for this though.
Yeah, and the thing that is kind of a bummer is it has to specifically be Vegeta. It can't be like Vegeta BR or Vegeta GT or anything like that. So it kind of rules out some of maybe the more toolboxy Vegetas you could play.
Yeah. So an interesting wording thing for this card is, I know they've done things like this in the past where, since it says a red Vegeta or a NAPPA card with an energy cost of 4 or less, does that mean that just the NAPPA has to be 4 or less, or the Vegeta and the NAPPA have to be 4 or less? Because isn't the Ultimate deck have some things like this where it's one target could be anything and then the other target has to be within the cost restriction?
I believe so. Not too sure. It's been a little bit since I've picked that deck up. I think it's the one drop Toa, if I'm not mistaken. Or even the Dark Dragon Balls, they like let you grab a Dark Broly or was it a non-black Xeno with certain cost or less? Yeah, not sure exactly how this is supposed to be ruled. I would assume that it's just the Vegeta or Nappa has to be red and both of them have to be 4 or less. That would just be my assumption.
Yeah, we'll see in the queue if they Q&A it or not. But if it's not, then there's some cool cards you can get.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's move down off. So we got the leader, we got the unison. The next red card, don't want to scroll too far down, is going to be the 2-drop launch. So this one, 2-drop, only one specified. It's a 5k blocker with an auto. For 1 energy, if your leader card is a red earthling or a heroine, which is basically just the Bulma leader for the second part. At the end of battle, when you combo with it, play it from your drop area. So it's kind of like the old combo into play, like the Freehan and stuff like that. Except this does not get played in rest mode. It also doesn't negate its skills.
And it's a blocker.
Yeah, so you're paying 1 energy for a 5k combo, and then you're also getting a blocker.
Yeah.
I think something that actually kind of stood out right now reading it, that's kind of a really good card to play in like Red Hercule.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Hercule, or even in the launch deck as well, because she likes to do the sort of combo stuff. Yeah.
So,
and one thing to note is this card is not restricted on whose turn it is, so you can do it offensively or defensively.
Yep.
So it's really good for like the alliance stuff.
Yeah, kind of a bummer that it's going to cost an energy. So it might be better with like red blue. That way you can beam after using the 1 to combo. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're trying to build Red Hercule nowadays, this might be something you want to look at including.
Yeah, I think it has merit with, like we said earlier, Pod, Frieza's Army Healing Pod, because you get to draw a card. So now you're comboing a 5k, paying 1, getting a 5k blocker, and drawing a card.
Bro, why don't we just build Red Green Hercule?
Tricolor Hercule, red, green, blue. So we can
we're gonna draw when we combo it. We're gonna draw from Pod when it gets played, and we got a blocker. This is strict value.
Tricolor Hercule, boys.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say about this one, or do you feel like we kind of?
I think that's pretty much it. It's kind of limited because Earthling or Heroine, I mean, it's cool in like Bulma and stuff, but it doesn't really stand out in any particular deck. Maybe Sideboard or you know, if it depends on your engine, what you're running.
Yeah.
Could be good. I'd say it's like on the bottom end of average.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Let's move on to the next one. Next we have Vegeta the Executioner. You want to read this one, or?
Yeah. So Vegeta the Executioner, his picture actually looks like a Cyberman because he's executing a Cyberman. I was like, where's Vegeta? Oh, there he is. Okay. Anyways, this card's a 10,000 power, 2-drop, 1 red specified, and he has Barrier and an activate main once per turn. Choose one of your Cyberman cards and KO it. Draw 1 card, then choose up to 2 of your red Cyberman cards, and they get 11,000 power for the turn. This card's really good in the NAPPA deck.
Yeah, that definitely seems powerful. It procs your leader on the backside. You get to draw a card. I believe you get to replay your dude again also if you have the unison out.
Yeah, and both guys both of the Cybermen, we're gonna get to them, or we'll get to the red one, but the green ones, when he's KO'd, he kills a 1-drop.
Yeah,
so they're all, when they're KO'd, they do something.
It feels like there's a lot of synergy amongst the cards for NAPPA, which I feel like is what you want in a theme deck.
You know what NAPPA is, bro? I just thought about it. It's an Aristocrats deck.
Yeah.
Aristocrats. But yeah, so... And I think the fact that this card has barrier makes it really good. You're probably not going to want to swing with him. He's like your main draw engine. And then your Cybermen get to swing, which is cool. We might see some older, if this deck becomes popular, which I think generally most of the Evolutions decks are not the highest power level because they're not doing anything for like free. So, but we might be moving away from that in the meta. Who knows? But if we see this deck gain some steam, there might be like some old cards like that Kai that says counterplay, you can't attack with 2 or less cards come back.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think this card's pretty limited and it's only good in NAPPA.
Yeah. I think it having barrier definitely brings its power level up a bit, especially with it kind of feeling like your center draw piece.
Yeah, definitely. It is a Vegeta you can search with the leader backside though, which is cool.
That's also true. Yep. All right, we got our next guy here. Another target you can search. It is NAPPA testing the opposition. 2-drop 10k again. Auto, if your leader is a NAPPA, when this card is played, play up to 2 Cybermen from your deck or drop area, then shuffle if you looked through your deck. And then an activate main once per turn. You can boost one of your Cybermen, one of your red Cybermen, by 11,000 power. So that's kind of a cool one to just hard cast and spam the board a bit. Even if you don't have your unison out, so you don't get your guys back early, you can play this guy and just play 2 guys from your drop. And if you have a healing pot out, you'll get a draw off that also.
Yeah, I think this is like your 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th copy of your unison. It's kind of doing a similar thing, as well as some of the things you can do with this deck that you're gonna have to play around with is like you can start stacking these plus 11k effects on like one Cyberman and go in with like
it massive, like a mirror sized Cyberman.
Yeah, like what if I'm, because they're 4,000 base, so they go to 15, then they go to 26, then 37, and then if like you give it, slap a chomp onto it or something, it's like, all right, bro,
that thing is nutty.
You want to take the 1, bro,
or 2 because you chomp at it.
Yeah, that's what what I meant.
Yep. Okay. I don't think there's too much to say about this one. It's pretty straightforward on what it wants to do, and it's rolling the deck.
Yeah, I do like that it hits from deck or drop, which is really good. So it's good early game and it's good late game. I think it's one of the premier cards of the deck that you're going to want to either get this or the unison or probably both on your opening hand.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right. Next one. Now we're hitting a Cyberman.
Hey.
You want to go over this one?
Yeah. So this card has some cool combos. And unlike the green Cyberman, which is essentially the same text except green and it has auto, when it's KO'd, you kill one of your opponent's 1-drops. This one, you can include as many as you want, just like the other Cybermen, but when he's KO'd, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards that's 10,000 power or less and KO it. So what's cool with that is it's not original power, and so if you minus something with a counterplay or even just one of your unison or leader effects, you can kill some big stuff. Which is really actually, so if you +1 on unison, you kill this Cyberman, trigger its auto because it's KO'd, but you get to stack your autos. You get to resolve them how you want to.
You can kill a 20k.
Well, if you have the leader out on the backside,
you can kill a 30k.
You can kill a 30k with a +1,
which is kind of nuts.
That's pretty good. Like
Yeah.
that's good good rate there.
Yeah, definitely.
And he comes back.
That's true.
I think that's pretty good.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yep. And it's I wonder if there's any ways to kill it, activate battle. Probably not, but if there are some ways, I think it boosts the value quite a lot.
Yeah.
So here's a good question. What do you think? Do you run equal copies of the two Cybermens in your deck, or do you run a skew towards one?
I think you probably skew it towards red just because most of the stuff for the deck seems to want to reduce power.
Yeah, I see.
I think depending on what you're expecting to play against in your general area,
yeah,
maybe hedging into the green ones a bit more might be good if your local area plays a lot of 1-drops.
Like BMS.
Yeah, BMS, I feel like it just destroys this stuff.
Well, kind of, because you can just play
a Cyberman. Just kill it.
Play a Cyberman and then just pop your Cyberman, kill the BMS.
Yeah.
But you have to hardcast your Cyberman, which not ideal, but you can still do it. It's not the end of the world.
You'd have to go like turn 1 something and then turn 2 like play your unison for 1. And then either play one of these and pop it, or if you played one of these turn 1, then you can pop it off your unison.
Yeah.
And then do your leader's effect safely.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're both really good. I don't know. I think you'll have to test out the number, but I do think that maybe like 12 is the right number for how many you want in a deck. 12 is where I'm going to start. 12 Cybermen.
Seems like a safe number to start at. That way you have enough to charge and also still use.
Yeah, I think I might bump the number up a little bit as I go, because I might find that you're going to want to late game resolve those, like go get 2 Cybermen effects from the deck.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. I think this one overall is better than the other one, just because it can KO anything 10k or less, and you can manipulate that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm feeling too. All right, let's get down to the next one. So now we've got another Vegeta. It's another 2-drop. This one is a 15k though, so now we've got some late game attacking power. We've got an auto for 1 red. If your opponent has 3 or more energy and it's your turn at the end of a battle in which you combo with this card from your hand, you can switch up to one of your mono red leaders to active mode, give it plus 5k power, have its keyword skills negated for the turn, and then you cannot activate non-keyword leader card skills or skills on copies of this card for the turn. That got really wordy.
Yeah, I think they were trying to keep you from doing this card over and over and swinging with your leader like 20 times.
And then an activate battle for another red. If your leader is mono red and you discard this card from your hand, you can negative 10,000 power one of your opponent's battle cards for the battle. So that could be relevant also, because that's one way to start shrinking your opponent's guys.
Shrinking, and then it's just a check. It's like a revenge death ball type of thing.
I don't know if this matters or not, but this Vegeta is also a U7.
Yeah, which has some other synergies that exist. I think it's cool that this card essentially can give any mono red leader dual attack.
Yeah,
per
that's
turn,
pretty neat.
Which is cool with things like the
boost.
Yeah, well, like the video game Gogeta leader who has double strike base.
Yeah. So and it gets a 5k boot. Is that only on the front?
It gets the 5k boost
on the
the leader.
Yeah, I think on the front on its auto to attack.
Yeah, This card does negate the skills.
That's right. So you'll lose double.
Yeah, but you'll go double into single, which is cool.
That is true. Might be relevant.
Either way, it's so good. It's a good card. I think it's really playable. I think it's not like the most powerful because of the targets that exist for it, but it can. Yeah. It's like has the potential if some crazy leader comes out.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think this is, like you said, one with potential, depending on what gets released in the future.
So next, okay, real quick. So that Vegeta, real quick. So it says you can't activate non-keyword leader card skills or skills on copies of this card for the turn. But if you can't activate non-keyword leader card skills, so that means your leader can't do like autos and stuff. But it also has its keyword skills negated. Why didn't it just like negate your leader's skills entirely? Am I missing something?
No, that would have just reduced the number of words on the card and had the same effect.
Okay. All right. That's confusing when it didn't need to be. Anyways, go ahead.
Next. We have Golden Frieza the Perished. This is a 1-drop 5k. Frieza Clan and U7. Activate main once per turn if you have red and blue cards in your energy area and you place one card from your life in your drop area. For the turn, this card gets 20,000 power and cannot attack your opponent's leader card, and you can only play U7 battle cards for the turn. Wait, no. Oh yeah, for the turn. That's at the start of it instead of the end. I was gonna say that is very, very poorly worded if it just missed the for this turn part.
Yeah, for the turn you get the whole effect.
Because if it wasn't there, you would be locked into only playing U7 battle cards for the game. That would not be good, as we
see with that one leader.
Kind of found out with the Goku Anniversary Box 8.
Yeah.
It basically says while it's in play, outside of extra cards, you can only play Yellow Saiyans.
Yeah.
Which means no unisons.
No. Right. So this card is weird.
It's very weird.
It has some synergies with some of the newer stuff because it's a 1-drop 25k essentially when you crit a life. But I think that they really kind of restricted it quite a bit. It could have been pretty degenerate if like it didn't have that only play U7 thing and you're just like, oh yeah, sack it for heartfelt plea.
Yeah. That would be real nuts because I'm assuming you could awaken turn 1. You could essentially heartfelt.
Even if it's not turn 1, you can just at any given point do a 1-mana heartfelt.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. So it's good that it has that.
Yeah, I guess so. If you're not a red player and you don't want to do degenerate things.
I mean, I would like to be able to do that, but I can understand why that's not okay.
Yeah, I mean,
agree. we have 0 mana heartfelts right now, and it's not okay.
Yeah, it is the best deck. So,
I think kind of like the NAPPA leader, the fact that you have to take a life definitely moves this down a couple pegs.
Yeah, and it's just super restrictive, the card itself.
Yeah. I don't know what their plan for this one was.
I don't know. It might have some synergies with it. No, it doesn't even synergize with the new Bardock coming out in set 13, really.
All I can think of is maybe they were intending it for like the starter deck U7 leader,
where you bounce a 25k to play that one Goku or Vegeta.
Yeah.
It's still not that good though.
It's definitely not, but that's the only thing I can think of that makes any of this text make any sense at all.
Okay, yeah. I think this card's a absolute garbage. Like 5 out of.
I'm thinking it's a dud.
Yeah.
We're just gonna scoot
we're just
down.
gonna. Okay, so
right,
we're getting
cool
into
stuff.
Yeah, Vegeta the Third, lineage's beginning. So this is not King Vegeta. This is King Vegeta. This is King Vegeta the Third. Okay.
Yes. And I think before this, we had no idea that he was the third.
Maybe if you like were hard into the show or the
like the manga
or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
But I had no idea.
Neither did I.
Anyways, this card's 1 drop, 4,000 power. It has swap 2, so it's going to swap into something, which we'll get to in a second. Auto, when this card's played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. And then activate battle once per turn, pay 1 mana, and he gets 11,000 power and critical for the turn. So this card is one of the cards you can use for the Vegeta's lineage. You can either swap chain into it, or you can skip this guy and do an arrival type thing. But
maybe the next one. We'll talk about that one when we get to it.
It's the next one. But this guy, I feel like, is super underwhelming. I think he has the issue with a lot of cards where they do too many things.
Yep.
Like he could have totally just said, when this card attacks, take a life, get 11k and crit.
Yep.
Instead of the -5 thing, because like -5ing one thing is usually not relevant.
Yeah.
Or he could have said, just on play -10 something.
That also would have been great.
Or -5 leader or battle for the turn. That would have been really great.
That would have been good, because then you could do something similar to like with the Frieza swap, where you go your 1 drop to buff your leader and then swap into clan commander, and then just replay your 1 drop again to boost your leader again.
Yeah.
You could do kind of the same thing, except instead of boosting your leader, you're just reducing your opponent's leader. I think that would have been really cool.
Arguably better, because now all your battle cards essentially got a 5k boost.
Yeah. I think that would have been totally fair and okay to do. And
for 1 energy.
Maybe they should have, so that, I mean, it's a rare.
Right. So it should be pretty powerful.
It should at least be like playable.
Yeah. One synergy with this card that kind of goes with the like storm idea of swap is I don't even know what it's called. It's that red card, the red free play Goku.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
minus something, you free play. So you play this guy, you free play the -5 one of their things, and you free play the Goku.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool interaction.
What's kind of cool is you can also play the blue one.
Yeah, because when you swap, you play the blue one.
Yep.
Okay.
I know I played that in Frieza swap a little bit, just because it was an extra early attacker.
Yeah. So you can get some pretty nice storm going off, although your hand is going to die.
That's fine. If my hand dies, that's fine, as long as my opponent dies.
True.
All right, let's move to the next one.
Yeah, so we're moving into a couple of extra cards, and then we'll get into the Vegeta's lineage again. But let's just go over these real quick, because they're actually pretty all right.
All right, so this one is an extra card for the NAPPA deck.
They both are, pretty much.
That would make sense, actually. So this one here, unexpected casualties, single red, activate main if your leader is a red NAPPA. You choose 1 card in your hand and discard it, then send this card from drop to warp. Play up to 1 Cybermen from your deck, and then shuffle it. And you also have an activate battle to choose one of your Cybermen and KO it, draw a card, and then -10k one of your opponent's battle cards for the turn. That's kind of cool. If it's on your turn, you can activate battle just to get it into the drop. and then you can activate main after the battle to do the other effect.
Yeah, so for 1 energy on your battle, you kill your Cyberman, bring it back with the unison, draw a card, either -10, or sorry, you -10 something with this card, then you either pop a 10 or less or KO a 1-drop, then your leader -10 something, then it's in your drop, so you can, like you said, pay the 1 again and warp it, and then also discard a card and then play a Cyberman.
Yeah, so what's kind of cool about this is this was kind of that missing piece of interacting on your opponent's turn. So
Right,
you can disregard the activate main and just use this 1 card as a kill your 30k.
Yep, kill your 30k when my leader is awakened and draw a card.
Yeah, that's nuts.
During battle.
Auto 4 of.
I personally put 3 in the deck just because red and green are kind of mana hungry.
That's fair.
But yeah, I could see this being like a really, really strong card.
Yeah, I think if you are in the play style of maybe like sandbagging these when you draw them and just using them at critical points where you need to get rid of a big attacker, you can do it 4 turns in a row.
Yeah,
and that's basically 4 turns of not dying.
Right.
So,
and yeah, I think this card's really good. The only issue is like there's not a lot of untap in the deck or free.
True. That is one small downside.
So maybe like 3, otherwise you might get clogged. But it is a really good card. So the next card is called Testing the Opposition. Has a bunch of Cybermen on it, which is cool. Counter attack. It's a 2 energy counter attack. If your leader is mono red, negate the attack, then play 1 Cyberman token, which we haven't seen yet in this set. Cyberman tokens have 5,000 power, 0 combo cost, and 5,000 combo power, which is very, very strong. And then that token gains blocker for the turn. So overall, like at first glance, this card's not great. You basically block 2 attacks. But then if your life is at 5 or less, you can activate this card's counter by taking a life, basically.
That's really good.
So you take
You're
a life.
getting a negate and a blocker, and the blocker murders your opponent's things.
Yep. Well, this one is a Cyberman token.
Does the leader say Cyberman card or Cyberman? Let's look.
The leader. He just says card, so the leader will trigger.
Yeah, it triggers on the tokens, I believe.
Yeah, he will, because it is a card. So there's a couple of other synergies that'll go with this specific token, but overall it's just a lot of value. I think it's like the only issue is like you have to be 5 or less and you have to take a life.
Yeah.
So I think it's only like a 2 of in the deck.
Yeah,
that's what I have it at currently.
This is 1 or 2.
But it is a really strong negate.
Yeah. All right, move into the Vegeta's lineage.
So we're back to the king. Well, not king.
This card is why there's no need to play the 1-drop.
Yep. It's also the only target for the 1-drop.
This is true. So it's a multicolor red green 2-drop. So it has energy exhaust. Also has unique because everything has unique.
Because Bandai.
Arrival red green for 0 energy.
Yep.
So
you combo red green, you just slap them down.
Yeah, so you can combo a NAPPA or what's the older? Is it a Raditz? The one that combos as a 0/5 if you have red green energy.
Raditz.
Yeah, so either one of those, you have a free arrival.
Yep, which is cool.
Which you can do after charging a multi with energy exhaust, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, so you could charge multi and just slap them down.
Yeah, that alone is extremely powerful.
Yeah, I think this card has a lot of uses. It's really limited in the fact that it's not a great body. I think if it was 15k, it would be like really, really good. Or if it like, you know, obviously -5 was, if that effect was maybe something else,
Yeah,
this card could be potentially busted.
Let's read the rest of it. So swap 3 for a red. If your leader card is a red Saiyan and you have 3 or more energy, you swap into a Vegeta's lineage card with an energy cost of 3. I think there's only one, and it's coming up.
Yeah, there's only one target for each of these guys.
And then an auto, when the card is played, you get to -5k one of your opponent's battle cards for the turn, and then you cannot play copies of this for the turn. So you can't just spam 4 of these out.
Which I don't know why, because he's unique. So
yeah, I don't think that part needed to be.
I don't think
to be there.
Like, so this card's good, but like I said, it's got some limitations. And the fact that like the same power level of card doesn't have the limitation in another color. My example is Resonant Explosion Gogeta says he can only be arrivaled once per turn. But the cooler arrival is, it doesn't matter.
I think maybe why that part is in the auto is because of the swap. So it's got a free arrival and then a 1 energy swap. So even though it has unique, you can get it off the board fairly easily. Right. So maybe that's why.
Right.
But that even I'm pretty sure that is. The card it goes into is also not that great. So I don't think it needed to be there.
Yeah, I mean, like the most broken play to do with this is like arrival. If you didn't have those 2 restrictions, you arrival 2 of them down for free. And then you swap both, you swing with both, swap both into like the Vegeta, swing with the Vegeta or whatever. But then like, okay, you just did like 4 attacks, 2 10Ks and 2 20Ks, which is not like that broken.
Yeah, we do way worse than that in other decks.
So,
or at least I do.
This card's all right. I think it has some cool uses outside of its intended engine.
Yeah. What's kind of cool is like red green Bulma. This is a free blocker.
Yeah, that's really cool. Free blocker on either player's turn. I like this card with the Piccolo Jr. because it's you arrival it in, and it's just a free alliance 10k.
Yeah, it's a free 10k alliance,
and then you can swap it away for something else.
Yeah, there's a couple outside of Vegeta's lineage things you can do, which are kind of cool. But let's get into the next one. So this is your 3-drop that you swap into. It's a 20k. Energy Exhaust and Deflect, which is kind of nice to see Deflect. I feel like we haven't seen too many cards with Deflect lately. Has a permanent that it can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode, which is kind of nice. And then auto for 1 and a red. If your leader card is a red or green Saiyan, and this card KOs one of your opponent's battle cards, you can play 1 red-green multicolor Vegeta with an energy cost of 6 from your deck or drop area on top of this card, and then shuffle your deck if you looked through it. So there's one good target.
There's only one target.
And that's the 6-drop from, what is it, set 7?
One of those sets.
I think it was set 7 because that was the one with red green.
Yeah.
That one has its auto is, I believe, on attack your opponent warps 2 cards from hand.
Yeah.
And then it has an activate main for a red and a green. It is leader restricted.
Yeah.
You basically just burn your opponent for a life.
Yep, once per turn. You just burn them for 1.
So that's kind of cool. The not so cool thing is that you only get the auto to go into the 6-drop when this one has KO'd one of your opponent's battle cards, which means it has already attacked.
Yeah, so you're not.
So you're
get to
losing the auto on the 6-drop, which is probably the part you want the turn you go into it.
Yeah, again, it's like red green has all these hoops they have to jump through.
Yeah.
Not only does he have to KO one of their cards, but the Vegeta's also now rested.
Yeah, one thing that's important to note, there is exactly one leader that you can use this entire chain for. And that is Surge Broly. I think the 6-drop, you have to have a green Saiyan leader.
Oh, I see. Huh.
Yeah, so that's really your only option for going up this whole engine, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, the bottom half can be used in any red leader or green leader.
Red or green Saiyan. But to get the activate main of the 6-drop, you have to be a green Saiyan leader to burn your opponent.
Very awkward. There is a hidden interaction with that Vegeta. If you somehow, well, so I think the only thing that's leader locked on that 6-drop is the burning thing.
Yeah, the attack auto is not.
So if you play this chain in Bulma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have this Vegeta.
You actually can't even go into the 6-drop with the auto, because Bulma's not a Saiyan.
Oh, you're right. Well,
yeah, they made it real difficult to.
My whole concept was if this card gets revenge somehow and they attack it and they die, you can trigger the auto.
Yeah,
but
I guess that's one way to do it.
You can't give it blocker if you're not Bulma, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that card's basically, I think this chain is more or less garbage, and then the King Vegeta, the 2-drop, has some cool uses outside of the chain.
Yeah, I think they should have just not made this have to KO something to do the thing.
Just pay 2, go into it.
Yeah, just be an activate main, one in a red, or they could have even done swap.
Yeah, swap
just to
into
keep
6.
along the theme.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe not, because then you'd have to errata that 6-drop to have the Vegeta's lineage tag, but that's also an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's easier ways. There's just so many hoops. It's like, okay, the problem is like, yes, the card is very good, right? It just says pay 2, burn your opponent for a damage, right? But at the same time, it's a 6-drop. So you play this whole chain, they God Sealing you, that guy goes back to your hand. Or they freeze a charismatic villain you, that guy dies. Or he's already rested, so the rest mode, the yellow one doesn't matter. And the red one doesn't kill him either. So, but 50% of the time, your opponent could potentially just say no, not happening.
Yeah. What's important to note, and maybe that's why this is not worded as like a swap or something, the 6-drop gets played on top of this, so it's like an evolve.
And it's from deck or drop.
Yeah, so even if they like God Sealing or something like that, you're not losing the 3-drop.
Right.
So maybe that's why they did it the way they did. I still don't think it needed to KO something though.
Yeah.
Because that it makes it feel really bad to play the 6-drop and not be able to attack.
Yeah, I agree. But then again, I think this set for red is more about NAPPA than this lineage.
Yeah,
engine.
Definitely. It feels like the Vegeta's lineage stuff was just kind of like a small fan service, or maybe
Filler.
it's alluding to something in the future.
Maybe we'll see. A control red green deck that had a nice leader for that would be kind of fun, I think.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, next card. NAPPA Break Cannon Unleashed. You want to take this
guy
one?
Yeah, this guy is a house. Straight up house.
He does seem nutty, and he is shooting a giant mouth blast, so he's got to be good.
Yeah. It's I forgot the name of his moves, but it's awesome. Anyways, energy exhaust, just like every other multicolor card, pretty much in the game. Deflect, nice to see on a 4-drop. Double strike, dual attack, also nice to see. Good keywords, aggressive. And then he has a giant auto. Once per turn, if there are a total of 6 or more battle cards with the energy cost of 1 in your battle area and drop area, aka Cybermen, when this card attacks, it gets plus 10,000 power for the turn. Then choose up to 3 of your opponent's battle cards and KO them. So
That's
if you
really
trigger his auto, he's a 30k double dual pop 3 cost worth of dudes.
Yeah, that's it feels like the red-green version of like Marichim.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was thinking.
It's pretty sweet. And I mean, traditionally, like red and green decks play a good number of 1-drops. But you've got like your Saiyan Kaba, intensifying Trunks. There's the Gohan,
and you do only need 6. So
yeah,
like I could see this card as a cool finisher in like a reboot Gohan deck that's more red green, like mid-range themed, because banned in best of 1.
Yeah. Yeah, or even like post sideboard, if you have some of your draft box 6 silver bullets in when they get killed, or even if they're not killed, they're still in your battle area.
Right.
That goes towards this auto.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of utility to this, and I definitely think it's playable.
I think it's pretty good. It is limited because of the whole 1-drop thing, but even without that, 20k double dual with deflect is not bad. Solid.
Yeah. Something I just thought about, the combo to draw Chi-Chi for red green, that's a 1-drop, isn't it?
It is a 1-drop, so when you combo it, if you have 2 red green multis and energy, draw a card.
Yeah, so that also goes towards this. So maybe this is your like Marichim style card in like Surge Broly.
Yeah, I can see that. You just play a little more 1-drops.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that being maybe not tier 1, but like 1.5, given enough like time and edits to deck construction and like really tuning it. Because I mean, Surge Broly, it's always kind of like not really in the meta, but not really out of it. Like if someone brought it to an event, they're going to do well, I feel like.
Yeah, they're at least going to scare some people.
Because that deck hurts.
It can definitely get work done. One final note and synergy with this card is that it's a Saiyan and it's red. So Strategies of Universe 7 can give it barrier before you start swinging.
That
so it's
makes it infinitely better than Marichim.
I think that's pretty good.
We did it. We figured it out. Cracked the code.
NAPPA with strats.
Break Cannon Unleashed. Get your copies.
You know what? I think that is the last one. I'm pretty sure with these theme boosters, the commons and uncommons don't come foil. So common rarity is max rarity.
Actually, I think they can. Because like the old reprints, like Senzu Bean and all that stuff, can come in foil.
Senzu Bean from what though?
In Battle Evo.
Oh, you're saying because half the set's reprints. That's also why it's small, actually.
Yeah, the new cards are smaller, but because I've seen people like in countries outside of America, they've already had Battle Evo released. I've seen a bunch of posts of people selling like foil Senzu Beans and stuff from Battle Evo. They're like the OG art. It's full art, which is pretty sweet.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get OG foil Saiyan Kabas also. So there's a lot of like the old set, like was it 1 through 3?
Yeah.
That didn't have foil commons and uncommons. Maybe even beyond that. Yeah, it's cool. You can get some of your more staple cards from the first few sets in foil and full art now.
That's pretty hot actually.
Yeah, the beans look nice.
Yeah, but those would be kind of hard to get. It'll give this box a nice resale value.
Oh, definitely. I think that'll alone, just having the older sets foil reprints of staples, that alone gives it secondary market value later on.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, so that wraps up our review of the red cards for this set.
Yep. So let's get back to the good old regular page for us.
Swoop.
All right, we are back on the regular page.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I think other than that, just kind of closing out stuff. Yeah,
we have a little bit of bookkeeping, guys, so bear with us for just a second. If you guys would like to order any of the Battle Evolution cards as singles or even sealed products, please do it through our TCG Player link in the description. It gives us a little percentage back, and it doesn't cost you guys anything additional. And what I like to do is bookmark the page on my home page, so that way it's nice and easy to just click it whenever I want to go to TCG Player.
Yep, same here. It is just bookmarked as my TCG Player link on my browser.
Yep. And then go ahead.
Hey, we have a new sponsor.
Yes, we
do. I don't know if we mentioned it last time. We are now sponsored with a local shop of ours, Ender's Games. Check out their website, endersgamesclovis.com. It'll also be linked. They do have a sealed product for multiple games available. I'm not sure if they have singles up on their site or not, but what's really cool is they do also work out and do special orders on just about anything. So if there's something for other games that you're interested in and you don't see up there, shoot them a message, ask them about it, tell them we sent you. Great shop. They're more than happy to work with people and get the product people want into their hands.
Yes, absolutely. So go ahead and show them the same support you show us, because we love them as our sponsor.
Yes. And next, maybe last, our merch store. Still kind of under construction. I know it's been going on for a while. We're both rocking it today. It is still linked through the Streamlabs merch store from my personal stream while we're working on more designs, new designs, things like that. And we're kind of getting things started to move over to another website for this. Check it out. We still have the same merch as before, but during the transition, we are planning on adding more stuff. Getting warm again, so maybe not sweatshirts, but we got a lot of cool tees on there. We got coffee mugs, and definitely more stuff to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also the current design that we are wearing is our retro logo. We're going to be, we've already said it a few times, but we're in the process of updating the logo. And so if you like this one, be sure to get that merchandise before we change it, because it's not going to last forever.
Yes, once that is changed, these will not be available for much longer after that.
Yep. Alrighty. Anything else, Tim?
I think that about covers it. One last thing. We do have our Patreon up now. That's a new thing. We're not used to that one yet. There's a little bit of content up. We do all deck lists free. So you don't need to be on a paid tier just to look at the deck list we post. Articles and other things are behind the different tiers. We do plan on doing some Battle Evo deck lists and separate articles for the decks in the next week and a half or so.
Yeah, they're actually, the deck lists are actually done. We're just
working on the writing part. So we'll get those up for you guys, and we'll roll that into set 13 because there's some real hotness coming there.
Yep, absolutely. And keep an eye out for some more videos on each of the colors on our YouTube channel. We'll be posting those this week for you guys. Alrighty, guys. This is the Sideboard Gaming Podcast. This is Caleb checking out.
This is Tim checking out. See ya.
Bye.